I mean, I had a choice. I could get drunk at frat parties or hang out with the actors, and I chose to hang out with the actors. I got an agent, and I thought, I'm just going to try this. So I got cast in a television show that took me to Los Angeles. Hard is good, because we all have to deal with hard, but is it doable hard or destructive hard? It was certainly the hardest season in ministry, and I'd never really wanted to quit until the death of my dad. Then Philip gets diagnosed with cancer. And then one of my best friends just stabs me in the back. So I'm dealing with this betrayal. The things I would say is I didn't ask why. I feel like why is kind of a pointless question. I asked more, how can I get through this? God left some enemies in the land because there was a generation who didn't know how to fight. When we were in Montana, I did my first fly fishing.
Oh, great.
And I became a big fan of fly fishing.
Yes.
Because you're doing something all the time.
Yes.
You know, you're always moving.
It's funny, somebody just asked me that, have you fly fished? And I was like, yeah. I mean, so
It's different.
The biggest difference is when you're casting a lure, right? The weight of the lure causes it to go out. But with the fly, you're casting the weight of the line.
Line, yes. So it's learning that dance.
And did they do, on sometimes the people that start, they'll do like a little float.
Yep.
Did they give you all the little floats?
Yeah,
where you could do the float and you kind of watch it at first. Okay, yeah.
And then
then
you're always pulling it, and then doing it in the doing from the bank or wading in is one thing. And then we got in a little inner tube boat thing, you know? And so then I'm just like, I don't want to catch anybody's head. Do you know what I mean? Now you're just like trying to not hurt people.
It's a long rod.
It's really long.
Yeah, it's true.
But it was fun.
So I caught, so we went on a trip into Alaska and went in jet boats way up in like the rivers.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that was really fun. So I haven't done a lot of it, but I've done some. I caught a 27-inch Dolly Varden trout in a remote river in Alaska. So that's like really fun.
And we just went on the Yellowstone. So we just went in.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of.
Do they have it where you can tour it and stuff now, or whatever? You just can. It's basically like a tourist site, or just special people, or what?
No, we just hired a guide, and so we walked through Yellowstone and went to a river the part of the Yellowstone River that you can fish on. And
you're talking about Yellowstone National Park.
Yes, sorry.
I thought you were talking about Yellowstone, the movie.
The movie, yeah. Well, there you go. Which is where they got it from, was the park, right?
The park, yes. Okay. So they'll let you fish in the park. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's cool. It's very cool.
So, Holly, when is the first time you came to Milestone? Which we just spent time here talking about fly fishing, which I think was really cool. I mean,
because why not? Why wouldn't you talk about fly fishing on a podcast?
Exactly. I mean, that's a topic I want to talk about because I think that's pretty amazing.
And that's all the fishing I've ever done, so that's it.
and how good here's a question I have. How good did you really feel? Like, how will you grade yourself? First time you did it, you're in Yellowstone, you got this rod, you're learning how do you feel by the end of your time? Would you give yourself from your casting ability?
Well, if we're doing like school from kindergarten to 12th grade, I think I'm in 5th grade.
5th grade?
I went from preschool to
preschool
to
5th, which is pretty good.
There you go.
And the biggest thing was feeling the weight of the line to get it to go out.
And letting go at the right time.
Letting go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Because you have the little bitty line.
Yes.
And then you have the heavy line and like feeling that go through the guides.
Yes.
That's actually a pretty good skill.
And I kept picturing that movie. Remember that movie? A river runs through it, right? And I kept picturing that, and I go, they made it look so easy, but it is not. It takes a minute.
That's so good. The 10 and 2, right? The 10 and 2. And then my brother developed the shadow cast. And
That's right.
Was like, that was pretty cool.
Yes.
So when was the first time, though, that you came, Brandy probably invited you to come and do a ladies thing for us.
Yes.
Do you remember? Because you said Brandy was pregnant with our 4th daughter, Lainey Kate.
Yeah, and that's 16 years ago now, right?
So she's 6.
I think I met Brandy though before that at the Robinsons. So I met her there. I did something for Jennifer and Steve there, and so I think I met her there. But
I think that is it.
I came to Milestone when she was very pregnant with the gift.
And I think, they did a women's thing like in Florida or something, and Brandy came, but then her and Jennifer, I think, came to your women's
the
thing
She Rises
out
thing, yes.
at the
Yeah.
She Rises. So So I wanted to say this to you. I just wanted to honor you. So thank you for, like, at that point where Milestone is now, a lot of people would probably accept the invitation, but back then we were still, getting going. You came. I've always just loved your down to earth style. Just, I just feel like it's important. This is kind of my deal.
Yeah.
To step down where people are, right? And you do that really well. I think you connect well with people, that it's not like, oh, she's up here so far that I can't relate.
I'm not up there so far anywhere. And I just liked you guys. So I'm all about the relationship more than anything else. So.
Yeah. And then we also share one other thing. Your mom, so I'm from East Texas, right? So we have this connection with where I'm from and your mom. Yeah. So not a lot of people know that
East
little
Texas,
town. Yeah,
that's
exactly. It's another country.
It's another country.
Yeah,
East Texas is another country.
It's another place, right?
Oh, yes.
But I thought, here's why I wanted to have you on, okay? I just feel like your place in life. So tell us a little bit about that, by the way. Where are your kids? You've been married how long? I want to say that for a reason, right? Okay. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay.
And then I want to kind of frame your journey a little bit.
All right. So Philip and I have been married for 41 years, like in a row. To the same guy in a row. Listen, we pastored in LA, so in a row for a lot of years is like a big deal.
That's right.
And then
and you still like each other.
And we, like most days. Okay. Yes. And then we have 2 adult kids, and I have 4 grandchildren, which is the prize.
That's the best.
So it's the best.
Yes.
So it's a really great season. We pastored that church in LA for 35 years and then handed that off a couple of years ago. Uh-huh. And so now it's I am in this season where I actually am free to travel more, and I mentor a bunch of people and do different leadership things. And so I love this season.
How do you like being a Texan?
Actually, I really like Texas too. Yeah, you know what? It's the middle of the country.
Yeah.
It's the best travel hub.
It is,
seriously is the best travel hub. So I'm enjoying that. And the people are so nice.
So nice. Yeah. Good barbecue, good Mexican food.
Yes, all the things.
Great people. Yeah.
Really good people.
Awesome.
It's so funny. For the first 6 months of Philip and I being here, after being in LA for so long, for the first 6 months, I was just like, people were so nice. We were like, what do you want? Like, we were so suspicious. We're like, But then you go, no, that's just how people are here. They let you in on the freeway in front of them. I'm like, whoa.
Sometimes. That can get a little.
Maybe it's the Californians that have
come. It's the transplants.
That's right. They're not letting you in.
Yeah, they're not letting us in. So I want to go back, all the way back to, starting Oasis Church, kind of take me on the journey. Here's what I would love for you to share, because I think I was just speaking last night to a leader that I'm mentoring and pastoring. And I found myself listening to them, just they're in the throes of it. They're younger, and they're, and it's family, and it's extended family, and it's this challenge, and it's family that has this health issue.
Right.
And I just found myself, you don't want to oversimplify it, but I found there's just no other way.
No.
You just have to go through the
stuff.
pressure, the pain, and we were talking before this. If you don't quit,
that's right.
You win, but it can be hard sometimes. So tell me a little bit about this.
Okay. So I'll back up even further, because I'm going to make a point out of it, is that my dad's job, I grew up all over the world. So I grew up in Venezuela, so fluent in Spanish. We lived in Indonesia. I went to high school in England, and then went to university. I was at Duke. Okay. And so when I was at Duke, I was studying medicine because that's what I thought I was going to do. Yeah. But they had a program there that you could get accepted into their, I don't know if they still do, but accepted into their medical school as an undergrad. You still had to finish, but you were already in Duke Medical School. So that was kind of the program I was headed to do. So it was very intense and a lot. And so to burn off steam, I hung out with the actors, the thespians, because they're entertaining. I mean, I had a choice. I could get drunk at frat parties or hang out with the actors, and I chose to hang out with the actors. So I'm doing that, and so I started just acting in some plays and loving that. It was very fun. And so I thought, you know what? I want to try this acting thing. And so can you imagine the phone call to my parents? So, Mom and Dad, I want to go from this medical school. I'm going to try acting. And so, but here's the great thing about my parents. They're like, it's your life, honey. So, okay. So then Duke is great at what they're great at, but theater's not really what they're known for. They're great law school, medical school,
Right.
business, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I looked for just for a really good theater program, and SMU had a really good theater program.
Okay.
So I transferred to SMU and to consider their theater program. And while I was here, I got an agent, and I thought, I'm just going to try this. So I got cast in a television show that took me to Los Angeles.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up in
Wow.
LA.
Wow.
And acting. And so I met Philip when the series that I was on was airing. And he was already in ministry. And he wasn't quite sure what to do with this actor girl because, we have no morals, I guess. So, but I loved Jesus my whole life.
Right.
So we sort of met while I was doing the acting thing. And then he was already, again, going to be doing the ministry. And so when Oasis Church started, we were engaged.
Was he working at a church or was he doing college ministry?
He had been a youth ministry.
Youth ministry, okay.
And then had been an assistant pastor at a church. And then it was time for him and he was leading a Bible study. And the Bible study was in the home of an Academy Award winner. So he's teaching this Bible study, and there's like an Oscar on the mantle, behind him.
Cool.
Anyway, it was crazy. So we're in this
If
Bible
we had social media now, that
it
would
have
really
been very
be
cool. I know. Listen.
You do a little reel of that. Come to my Bible study.
I'm just so glad we didn't. Our first years of church were not on social media.
That's
Can I just say that? Oh my gosh.
Me too.
Oh, I'm so grateful. So then we got engaged, and then 6 months later, while we were engaged, then 6 months later, or the church started, then 6 months later we got married.
So was he already headed to starting this church and you guys are kind of coming together?
Yes.
Or were you fueling that? Let's start a church, or how was that working?
No, I feel like it was probably already in him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then because I was still acting. I mean, I was still making a living as an actress, and which we're really grateful for because it funded our life. my acting gigs funded our life for a minute. But the thing is, it's like I didn't know, when I was all that history with my family living around the world. And
right.
I didn't know that God basically wanted me in LA. So he used everything I gave him, which was this acting thing. And he used it to get me to LA because he had a mission for me there, right?
Mm-hmm.
To partner with Philip to plant this church. And then I look down the road at Oasis Church, which was 20% Hispanic, 20% Black, 20% Asian, 20%, white, and the rest married each other and very mixed. And so because I lived all over the world, that was normal for me.
Yeah.
Right. So I think God used all the parts.
Whereas when you were in the middle of it, you could have been like, well, why didn't I have a hometown and go to the same school and graduate? Or, if you back to social media or today, I think we have so many comparisons, right?
Yes.
Or expectations, but you could have been, I think you could have easily like, how did I end up with the dad that travels all over the world and then in the rearview mirror, which I think is something there, don't you think?
No, that's why I brought it up. I just feel like it's important to trust God with your whole life.
Right.
Right. And so, and not look at what somebody else has, right? So it's to trust him with their whole life. So I feel like that helped me do what I do. Right. Right. So then Oasis Church starts, and then we're in that Bible study, and there were some very famous people in that Bible study, and we're thinking, okay, there might have been 80 or 90 in the Bible study crammed in this house. We're going to start a church. Well, they didn't all come with us to the church. Like there's 20 of us in this, elementary school auditorium or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And so those early years, I think, were really, tough. Philip came out of the Jesus movement. So he really came back to the Lord in the Jesus Revolution. You've seen the movie. So that was his, he was there when there was 100 people. So he was in those early days.
Right.
And so in that move of God, all you had to do was play the guitar and talk about Jesus, and people came.
Yeah.
Well, we tried that. It wasn't really working.
It wasn't really working. Okay.
So we realized, we need some leadership stuff would be really good.
Yeah.
So we had to begin the journey of learning about leadership and
you were schools, getting in facilities, and that's not an easy thing in LA, right?
No.
And
so schools and auditoriums and community centers, and I think Philip added them all up, and we had been in 17 buildings. By
Wow.
the time we bought this, what would be our last building, the cathedral that we have, 17. So
what were some of the things you would say to somebody though, like when you look back on the journey, okay, and the leading people and shepherding people and building a church, and like what do you think are some keys to success, or what are some things that what do you find right now you say to that 30-year-old person, maybe because we have people here, we have college students, we have some of our people that are within ministry training circles, serve team. I've always been amazed too, is that like people in the community that, a superintendent of schools, right? So they're in the middle of leading people, parents. If you were to talk to your younger self, or what do you find yourself saying? What do you think is valuable in that? 3 or 4 things that you think you learned on that journey.
Good question. So when my son was 7, he was taking karate, and I thought, you know what? That looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to take karate too. Okay. And so I joined his class, and I looked on the wall, and I show up in my little white uniform, my stiff little white belt. I'm going to take karate. And I looked on the wall, and there's all the colors of belts, right? It goes from, white and yellow and orange and red, all the way to black. And I thought, I'm going to get that.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm going to do this. And what I learned is so I feel like we all want a black belt life, a black belt marriage, a black belt church. We all want that. Whatever that is for you, we want that. Yeah. But you don't go from white to black. There's a bunch of things you have to go through. Mm-hmm. And so I started thinking like the things that I had to deal with in ministry and karate, but like sometimes it's just the routine. Right. There's daily things you have to do. Right. Like in karate, it was learning to fall and block punches and all that. But in ministry, it's the daily stuff. It's showing up for one more meeting. Right. Right. It's having one more conversation. Yeah. It's reading my Bible every day, whether it's jumping out at the pages at me or not. Yeah. Right. And so I think and I know that seems like duh, but I feel like today everybody wants the flash, everybody wants the exciting thing. Right. But you don't get to where you want to get without pushing through the boring and the routine. Yes. Doing the work. Exactly. In a marriage, like there's some boring days in a marriage. There's some boring days in church. Like this. Yeah. Oh well, you push through them. Like you just push through and so I just think for me that was one of the things. And then there are some hard things. Yeah. There were some hard things. So certainly, there's some hard things in karate for sure. But hard things in ministry, like dealing with betrayal. Yeah. Betrayal's really hard. It is. And I'm very, while I'm good at getting systems and getting all that going, I'm really relational. And so for me, the people drama is the hardest thing. Because you love deep, right? So the only way to hurt deep is love deep. I thought about when we were going to have the conversation, I thought this is going to be easy because Holly likes to talk and she's kind of bubbly and she's relational and I relate because I was told in seminary, like, don't get close to your people, but like, I don't know any other way to do it. So I really love the people. I think some people love their Bible or love their teaching or we're all wired different, but the only way to hurt is to care. Right. I had a lady come out of church the other day. She goes, I just feel like you care. I was like, because I do. Imagine that. Yeah. And so I just think like that there's some hard things. That's hard though. And so betrayals are hard. It's hard, And it's also hard to have those fierce conversations. Right. Right? And you have to have them. Whether it's in ministry or marriage, you have to have the hard conversations. And this is a question that Philip and I used with our team. We would say, hard is good because we all have to deal with hard, but is it doable hard or destructive hard? That's good. Yeah. Right? Because doable hard, like forgiving somebody, it's hard because I want to punch him in the throat. Exactly. Right? But it's doable hard. Yeah. Right? And so what's destructive hard? So we would look at the calendar and we would go, is this doable hard for our church or destructive hard for our church? I love that. Or like comparison. Like comparison is destructive hard. Right. You can learn from people. Right. And be inspired. Yep. But it's destructive hard, right? Or toxic relationships are destructive hard. Right. Just ask Samson. He had to do with Delilah, right? Toxic. Yeah. And so I just think answering that question, so it's going to be hard. There will be hard seasons. And then I think there are painful ones.
Yeah.
There are really painful seasons in, life, certainly in ministry. And I think even in karate, it dawned on me that this was a contact sport, so I started getting punched in the face. And I think I have deviated septums on both sides. So
From karate?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I could get a nose job for free now with stuff. So,
From kick or punch?
Punch.
Punch.
A punch, yeah. So my blocks got better eventually, but yeah. And I broke so many toes. You just tape them up, get back on the mat, right?
Yeah.
So there's some painful parts of karate, but honestly, there are painful parts in ministry.
Yes.
And so pushing through things, and I felt, I dealt with cancer, and which is pretty painful.
Yeah.
Because you still have to show up for your people.
Right.
Right. You push through. You show up.
Right.
And then there was a season. Go ahead. Sorry.
Tell me about that. I mean, was there any? It was out of the blue. Was there any family history? Did you ever think about it, or was it one of these things of, okay, we just did a mammogram. You have cancer. Was it? Right. How did it come? How did you find out? Did you have any symptoms? What was it?
No, I know. And I am one of those. This might be TMI. I'm one of those ones who think women should check themselves, and so I found it.
Oh wow.
So the mammogram didn't. I found it.
Wow.
And so then, so then the biopsy, and sure enough, it was cancer, and there's none in my family. Nobody's in my family's ever had it. And I was young.
How old were you?
So I was 40.
40, okay.
So that's pretty young.
Yeah.
A lot of times it happens more menopausal.
Right.
But there are more and more actually young women kind of getting it now.
Right.
Or maybe it was 43. But anyway, early 40s. So it was a little bit of a surprise there. And so then there's the heart of, navigating it in a way. I remember standing in front of our church and realizing I'm also going to tell people. I'm not going to pretend I don't have something, right? But I have to lead people, right? So I remember saying, just being clear with what I got diagnosed with. And I said, so we're going on an adventure. Here we go.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you the whole way through. And so there were times I taught in the middle of it. I remember I did this message called Lessons from the Middle of the Battle, right? I don't know the end yet, right? So, but I just think those are just the moments. And
well, you know what I think though people underestimate is it's I want the leader to be transparent. Mm-hmm. People always just love that when we have a transparency and authenticity. But what they underestimate is you choosing to do that, which for your personality and everything probably was therapeutic, and it also probably encouraged a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You also took on a lot of emotional weight.
Yes, I did.
Because now you have hundreds of people going, how are you doing?
What do you do?
What's going on? And how do I, and is there anything you need? And it's people that are really struggling, you're kind of don't ask somebody what they need. Figure out what they need and send it.
That's exactly
Amazon
right.
it to them.
Amazon it to them. Yes to that, by the way. It's a good plan.
Because you're trying to, you took on that day when you stood in front of your church another level of emotional energy that I don't think a lot of people understand, right?
That's very true.
If you've never been in that position, they don't know what it's like to have hundreds of people who genuinely care. They're not malicious at any level.
And they're sending me, and I finally had to go, I'm doing a lot of research, and I'm going to these holistic hospitals, so I appreciate your suggestions, but I've got doctors and
that was before ChatGPT.
Yes.
Now everybody's a doctor.
That's right. Everybody knows the answer.
I looked all this up. I did my own research. Right. Here's what you need.
Here's what you need to do. So that was, but my kids were young at that point too.
That's a lot too. Yeah.
So just trying to realize I have
feel like you need to be emotionally there for them.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So how you went through treatments?
Went through surgeries and treatments, and now I'm 25 years cancer free. So
25 years cancer free.
22 years, something like that. Anyway.
So you're looking back, right? Mm-hmm, you're looking back now at your stage of life. What is all that about? Why? Because we could get into all the theology. There's volumes of theology on pain, suffering. Right. In fact, it has been speculated in academic evaluation of people that are agnostic. It's really Christians' lack of an ability to explain pain and suffering that has created probably one of the largest barriers for the agnostic community, really.
I don't disagree.
We think it's these little petty things we argue about in church.
No.
If God is good,
right,
why do I have these bad things?
Yeah.
How do you answer that? What was happening now that you look back? How did you reconcile that with God, with,
Yeah, I think one of the things I would say is I didn't ask why.
Yeah.
I feel like why is kind of a pointless question. So I asked more like how can I get through this?
Right.
What do I need to do to get through this? And I mean, I see too many evidences in the Bible that Jesus walked with people and the disciples walked with people who hurt. So I knew he was walking with me. I wasn't in this fight alone.
Yep.
But it's interesting that you mentioned that because I feel like I had this one professor when I was back in grad school, and he might have been quoting one of the Desert Fathers or something, but he was saying that we experience the presence of God in one of two places, either with extreme love or extreme suffering. And he said, and most of us don't know extreme love.
Yeah.
So, and that's true. So when I was in the middle of that and just the pain and the fear, in that moment, I felt the presence of God. In fact, I remember just being in a hospital bed and I was by myself at this particular moment. And I just had this encounter with the Holy Spirit and I felt the fear of death leave me.
Yeah.
Like leave.
Yeah.
So, and to this day, I want to be here for a long time, but there's no fear anymore about that. So I think there's those moments you get with God that you don't get other ways.
Yeah. And that pain also became part of your purpose because then now you're sharing with all of these women that many times probably, whether it's something as challenging as breast cancer, they probably generally feel like I'm carrying a burden that no one else can understand.
Yeah.
So then you begin to, you minister in multiple settings, but specifically your conferences for women became a safe place for them to come and say, hey, I'm struggling. I got these challenges,
And then there was this, season even, so now years later, probably the hardest season of my life. And it was certainly the hardest season in ministry, and I'd never really wanted to quit until this one. And it started with the death of my dad. So he fell and hit his head, and I was very loved by my father. I mean, he cheered every dream I ever had, and I'm aware of what a gift that is, and I'm also aware that many people didn't have that.
Yeah.
He made loving God easy because I had already seen a loving father.
Yeah.
Right? And so he died suddenly, and so I'm trying to
when was that?
That would have been in 2014.
2014.
So I'm trying to process that. And then Philip's, my husband's identity gets stolen. And then how they do it, they hack through his bank account and they steal our savings account. And the bank wasn't liable because of how it was done. I mean, the FBI got involved in all that. So I'm trying to find a moment to grieve my dad. And then we have this financial loss. So I'm trying to process that. And then Philip gets diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
So which is horrible. And his was lymphoma. So it was on his head, and the treatment was so brutal for him that it destroyed his immune system, and he started catching everything. So he got everything that was going around, he caught it, and then he got shingles, the worst case they had seen, and he couldn't really function because it was affecting how he thought. And then my daughter made just a really stupid decision, which we can talk about in a minute, but hard decision. So I'm trying to lead a church. I've got thousands of people counting on us. So I'm trying to lead a church and be a wife to my husband, and I'm sure I wasn't getting an A+ in all of them. I felt very spread very thin, and then one of my best friends just stabs me in the back. So I'm dealing with this betrayal that's horrible. So I remember, I was just so under it. I was angry, all of this. And I remember sitting on my couch and I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to see people. And that's, as you know, not who I am. And I just felt like God showed me a picture of who that woman would become.
Yeah.
And she's this bitter, angry old woman. And so I knew I couldn't stay there.
And that was really what the enemy was after, right? He was wanting to stop you from the light and the love and what you I would say, the last 6 years as a pastor has been a tough, it's tough. I actually try to encourage a lot of the younger pastors who don't know who they are. I mean, I'm thankful that I've had a longer, I think as you go along, hopefully you're getting a little better. You obviously don't arrive, but I kind of have a little more security in, hey, I know who God's called me to be, right?
Yeah.
But I just think it is such an interesting season today with all the pressures that you have.
My gosh.
And
I
was beginning to realize, like, I'm a pastor. I love people. I want to serve people. And the enemy really wants me to get frustrated, wants me to get sidetracked and stop, using, the enemy told me during the COVID thing, you're not going to make it out of this, right? You start feeling this, you're not going to make it out of this, I told him to get 6 feet back and wear a mask, but anyway.
Good job. Good job.
But you know what's really interesting? When the enemy's telling you one thing, it's usually the opposite. Actually, it was like, oh, this is my greatest opportunity to use a unique gift that God's given me. And I think that's what has happened. All these painful things just have fueled. You have such an exhortive, encouraging, and the oil comes from the olives, but no one
only
likes
by
crushing.
The crushing.
The smashing of the olives,
right.
That's not the fun part,
No, it's
right?
not. But it's interesting that you're even saying that. There's this verse in Judges. Okay, so there's 2 verses. Like the end of Judges 2 is the saddest verse in the whole Bible, where it says that after Joshua died and the elders died, then there arose a generation who didn't know God or what God had done. Right. And so then at the beginning of Judges 3, it says this, I just saw this, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and it said God left some enemies in the land because there was a generation who didn't know how to fight.
Yeah.
So, and I thought he could have just taken them all out. But why didn't he? Because there's a generation that didn't know how to fight. So I feel like today there is a generation that doesn't know how to fight, that doesn't know how to stand.
Yeah.
And so I feel like my job is to actually tell the stories of the hard and the painful. And to encourage, you just have to stand. Right? You need to learn how to fight and stand.
Yes.
So because they're coming your way too.
Yes.
And so when people like, it's just like we're taking territory from the enemy. We are invading the kingdom of darkness. Right. We're not going to be given that. We have to take it.
Exactly.
Right? And so so there has to be this little bit of chutzpah in you to do that. And so I feel like we make it the things that, again, I think sometimes, and this probably isn't you, but the things that perhaps we did was make it about the platform. We made it look easy. We made it about the smoke and the lights and all of that. And so then that looked easy. And then you get young people now standing in ministry and they go, oh, this is really hard.
This is really hard,
People are coming after me now. I think I'm going to do something else.
Right.
And so I just wonder if we have prepared people for the fight. And so I feel like that's a little bit what I need to do. Like the season of life I'm in right now is preparing people for the fight. You're going to have to fight through this a little bit.
Yeah, I think, and I think every time I would take ground, every time we'd have a building campaign, and where the enemy really attacks us is in the health arena too. Because I think, not that my wife and I are perfect, but she's the only woman I've ever loved. We have a great relationship just because she's actually one of the best Christians I know.
No, she really is. I told her that when I was just here doing the thing with her. I'm like, I need to hang out with her. In fact, I'm having coffee with her after because she needs to rub off on me.
She's like a real Christian,
she
right?
Is.
As she says she's praying for, she really is.
I know. It's more than the emoji. More than sending the emoji, she's actually praying.
But it's like if the enemy can't divide, so health things, right? She struggled with severe arthritis, right? So it's kind of like the attack there. And I lost my dad in 2019 too, and he was my hero. It's like the emotion of I look back at these moments, and it's not circumstantial that every time you're taking ground, there's spiritual warfare. There just is, right? Yeah. But I think it's not just finishing. But and this is something I encourage you with, it's just, it's finishing still with the good spirit.
Yes.
Still loving people.
Yes.
And that's what I love about you and Philip, life-giving, hope-filled. We could probably sit here and debate multiple theological topics, and I think theology matters. Yes. But I think today, kindness and humility and compassion and these our word as a church this year is fruitful.
Oh, there's a thought.
And I'm just like,
yes.
I would like a little less talk
Yes.
and a little more fruit.
Oh, you mean like love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, those?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that.
Those are,
I think I'm so glad that you brought that up because I think that's what we forget. We think it's about, and I feel like, again, Instagram has become everybody's theology source, which please stop. Let me just say that, please stop. And so nobody's diving deeper or looking deeper, but that's where they're getting their theology, and they forget that we actually, two things, like we actually win the lost by how we love each other.
exactly.
Right? Not by how much theology you know or the Bible you carry or what church you go to.
Exactly.
It's about how do you love each other. They're going to know we're Christians.
That's right.
Jesus said about how we love each other, right? And so we can't even do that. Like we can't even do that. And then we think we can love our enemies. Like we can't even love each other.
Exactly.
Right? And so I think that's what changes communities and churches if we can get great.
Yes.
Loving. Just love people and
the goodness of God leads people to repentance, right? So it's like and that's the thing too. We fight not against flesh and blood because I've had to. I'm speaking to me. Like, Lord, I want a spiritual perspective because I can fight in the flesh with the best of them, right? Like I don't understand rules of engagement, so I'm just like, it's like, but we're not fighting with the weapons of the flesh, right? So we that is really the challenging part is to go to war, but fight it in the spirit and still maintain that soft heart that I'm saying that's been my battle. The last several years has been the enemy wanting to get me frustrated, get me discouraged, get me, believing, well, what you do doesn't matter. Like that's not really what is that isn't today. Let me just say, there's some stuff that transcends all culture all time, like what you're talking about, right? And
I think, like just like one of the greatest qualities too that we can have is be curious about people.
Yeah.
Jesus asked, this over 300 questions, and it wasn't because he didn't know the answer.
Right.
He's trying to engage. And so I feel like sometimes we step into situations and we like tell people as opposed to going, how did you get to that conclusion? Or what do you think about this? Or how do you feel? Ask some questions that engages people as opposed to talking down to them.
So what do you now? So you've stepped into a different season.
Yeah.
Brandy and I are grandparents too, which is phenomenal.
It's the best.
My grandkids were over yesterday, so hanging out, and she had to bathe them because she had taken them to McDonald's and she thought they absorbed every germ in the place.
Yeah.
So they were with me.
I'm with her
in the diapers watching. I'm getting caught back up on my
cartoons
Disney movies and stuff.
Perfect.
Getting back into that place. But in this new season, what are you excited about, or what's really fueling you? Like when you're looking kind of ahead right now, you're like, hey, here's what I'm. What are you? Some of which you've been doing, but what do you? What's kind of stirring in you? What are you excited about right now?
Well, I do love the church.
Yeah.
So I love that God entrusts me to be in different churches and see and speak into things and just see. So I love building the church. I love the beautiful diversity. I spend a lot of time out of the country as well.
Right.
And so just seeing what God is doing, I love that. What he's doing around the world is spectacular.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can get so caught up in our own nation that we forget that the bigger part of the church is actually outside of our country.
True.
And so just to see what God is doing is breathtaking. So I love that I've been able to do that. And then I am pretty intentionally mentoring people. So I started something that I call Circle of 12 and just taking 12 pastor chicks at a time. And I've been doing that for about 6 years now.
That's cool.
And I love that because I understand the impact that I'm being able to have in the church then doing that.
Yes.
So I love that because it's what I just said. It's teaching people to stand and to fight and don't quit and don't give up and make it more than the platform, make it. So I love that I'm, able to do that. So
we just started the last couple of years, Lead to Win. We started having our annual gathering, but then I started that the last couple of years where we have people request and, we have out there, lots of people that say, hey, I want coaching or development.
So what do you do?
We kind of take in inquiries, and we have a lot of them have been sponsored, right, to come and be a part of it, or people will suggest or recommend. But Steve Robinson and I will take a handful of pastors every year, and we basically developed about 10 plays. Here's what I really believe. So if I go with Philip and Holly, there's going to be things we share. I think we share a lot of stuff. There's a lot more than when we started. There's a lot more pragmatic help,
yes,
right?
There definitely is.
So we got a lot of shared plays.
Yes.
But I believe when you go to certain places, you go to a Church of the Highlands, or you go over here to Saddleback, or wherever it is, there's an impartation, right? And so what I like to say is I want to give you a year just to give you the impartation of some of the things that we believe we can offer to you. And so we kind of walk them through some of those plays, do a retreat, and help them define what their biggest barriers are and try to resource them past that big barrier. But what I find is a lot of leaders and pastors, they go hang out in these settings, and there's lots of inspiration. But one of the things I found that I can help them most is helping them with the execution of it. So I have a team, and we kind of help them. Like if you want to say, I want to get 50% better at my assimilation, which is one of the things we do really well, is just help people get connected in church. Yeah. But help you really, I mean, you know this. Yeah. You get in there, you're excited. Yeah. You have a meeting, and 9 months from now, you're like, now what happened?
What happened in that meeting? What happened in that meeting?
Did we make any,
that's good.
Help them measure, help them along
One of the things that we do in mentoring these women is that we do a retreat as well, and I bring a trauma counselor in.
That's good.
And so, because I'm not going to put up with the fake face, because I feel like we can go to conferences and we put on this face. We're like, "Hey, you're doing fine," and inside your marriage is a mess. You have a child that's struggling with something, or there's there's stuff happening, and you can't tell the truth. Right. So we're going to get real and get clean and get honest right here, so that we can go from somewhere. Right?
And where does that person, your minister, that's so amazing you're doing that, because where do they feel like they have a place? And they have had, I mean, those things, what you just described, those are traumatic things going on, right?
Right.
And so where do you go? So amazing. Thank God for you doing that for them.
Because I started thinking, what do I wish I had had?
Right.
When I was in those early years of ministry, what I wish I'd had, like a spiritual mom.
Yeah.
Somebody to love me and challenge me, and then a group of peers that I could tell the truth to.
Right.
Right. And so I just can't do fake. I lived in the city of fake for too long, so I can't do it. Right. So I'm just like, we're going to be real, and I just think that helps set people up better. It's
so powerful too for them to have, because I've seen this in the development groups I do. The simple reality of them having even a few peers text them and say, "We're praying for you today," or you're walking into that meeting.
Right.
It's so
powerful.
A game changer. Man, that's a game changer.
And I think back to talking about hard, so it's just like normalizing. So I tell some of my stories, so then it's normalizing the hard. And we know the story of the caterpillar. Like if you help that caterpillar, if you helped him get out of that cocoon, he would never be a butterfly.
Right.
Wouldn't fly.
Right.
And so our nature is to want to protect and shield people from the hard.
The chick pecking out of the egg, right?
Right.
The pecking
they
out.
Have to do it.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like normalizing the struggle a little bit is really important. And I think sometimes we want the end results. They look at your life or my life, and people say, "I want that." I'm like, well, okay, great. Then here's what you do. You serve, you lead that connect group. I mean, these are all the things I did. I taught children's ministry with, squeaky chairs and a puppet named Winston, right? I just sweating in the back auditorium, right? So you do those things. You write, I've written books. I wrote them in the middle of the night when my kids were little, because that's the time I had, right? So there was no scratching of that cocoon. I had to actually do the work. Right. So everybody can.
Can I ask you a really crazy question? Because this is one, Do you ever remember, not that it wasn't hard, but do you ever remember going, "I deserve better"? Or, I mean, did you generally, though, kind of feel like, not that you ever said what's hard is easy and this is great, but was there a general sense of, man, we're doing the deal? I mean, did you generally find yourself excited, though, about what was going on?
Yes.
I would assume you did.
I did.
Or you don't normally make it, right? Because, I mean, I tell a lot of our college student stuff and go, the great ones just love the game. They just love, they just kind
And
of.
you don't win every Sunday. You don't win every year.
Yeah.
There are some years that are really, really hard. And you just by finishing it, you go, that's
We didn't
yay.
lose ground.
I'm like
Thank
crawling
God.
over the finish line. I just remember even those really, the hard seasons, just being grateful for that I was a part of something bigger than me.
Yeah.
So, and that God trusts us to labor with him. I'm like, what?
Yeah. And I think there's something in that you were like children's church there's like I kind of love it all. Like that's kind of what makes it exciting is we could be talking about animal crackers or $1 million building or a note in a song.
That's right.
It kind of makes it fun.
Yes, it does.
But I find too today there's a messaging, you've hit on them, a lot of messaging of you can have it all, you can have it now, you can have it fast.
Yeah.
And then I think there's the other one that I keep running into is there's this perfect niche purpose. There's this perfectly tailored, like, I mean, you should have been able to work at the church just as an actress.
Yeah.
And just every Sunday do a skit.
Yeah.
And that'd be enough.
Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that.
We actually have a staff position for you, Holly, to do acting.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Study a script and then perform.
And then perform it. Perfect. Yeah. No. Yeah. I think getting your hands, messy in a lot of areas is the treasure of the whole thing. And
it is.
When we let our try to use our gift to demand something, I think you're stepping into a pretty dangerous area.
Yeah.
So,
what would you say to somebody out there, just as we kind of wrap up? What would you say to somebody? They're in the middle of it, right? And they're kind of trying to make sense. I love that you said, I didn't ask why, because I always counsel that because you're probably going to ask it, but you probably need to dismiss it pretty quick because even if you got the answer, it probably wouldn't change much, right? Yeah. So I think that's good advice. But like, what would you say to them? Like if you were doing a mentoring moment with maybe one of these leaders, what would you say to somebody out there? They just kind of feel like pressure, anxiety, worry, can't sleep. What would you say to them?
That you're kind of normal, right? That there are moments when we all feel like that.
Yeah.
That overwhelmed. I feel like overwhelmed was normal. And in a way, it is because it's a big vision, right? If I can't accomplish everything without God, then what am I doing, right? So it's a big vision. There's always going to be this gap, right? So the overwhelmed part, I would just say about that is pretty important to just manage your own soul.
Yeah.
I think here's my little theory that we're spirit, soul, and body. We know that, right? And for everything, we get 3 votes. And our spirit always votes the way of God, always.
Right.
Our flesh almost always does not.
Yeah.
And so our soul is the swing vote. And I think if our soul is damaged, then it votes the way of the flesh. And if it's healthy, it votes the way of the spirit. So we have to manage our soul.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes in these really hard seasons we go through, we have to manage our soul. We have to manage our emotions. We have to manage our mind and take a look at what's happening here.
Right.
It's about being whole. And so I feel like sometimes in today's culture, this whole self-care has become selfish. It's become very self-focused, and that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about managing the soul that you have, that God's given you.
For most of us, I would say this about you, and even for me, we were later to the game in that. Yep. Like it began to be so many people were struggling. We were kind of late to it. And I started getting coaching to help me with my energy bucket and my soul bucket and my this, and kind of started having to think about, because every leader overestimates, right? And you end up over your skis, and you're like, okay,
down a hill.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And there, there's an overwhelming nature to it by nature, because it's an overwhelming supernatural God that's leading all of this. But I agree with you. I think you have to start also developing your own rhythms and knowing your own soul and calculating what you can say yes to, and a whole host of stuff.
And I think what adds to it is then we compare the comparison piece.
Right.
So then people are comparing somebody else's, like they've been pastored pastoring a church for 2 years, and their church has 1,000 people. I've been pastoring for 2 years, and ours has 30. And our church, Oasis Church stayed small for a decade. I mean, we stayed 300 people, and then all of a sudden, things started happening.
The big thing is, I think one of the tag, like when I way back, this was not the fastest growing, right? So that began to be a target.
It's just
the fastest growing. Well, I mean, if that's what God does, okay, but cancer grows fast too, right?
Yeah, and so does your belly if you eat too many bad things. So I don't know that that's always the right thing to say.
Exactly.
But I feel like there becomes this pressure. So to your question, I think this normalizing that a little bit of the overwhelming part, but then taking a look at your own soul and the rhythms of your life. And if you can't take a vacation, then you have set it up wrong.
Exactly.
Right? If you can't take some days off, then it has been set up wrong.
Right.
Because you're thinking that the church revolves around you, and it actually doesn't.
Which is part of what God's after.
Right.
I was sharing this as well with this young leader. I was like, for me, it was actually, this is so prideful that when I actually developed the rhythm and took off, the church actually kind of did better in that season. And it's kind of like God's like, hey, just so you know, I got this.
I got this. I know.
Isn't it so kind of prideful and selfish that you actually think, I've got to balance all these balls because I'm really the one making this thing hold together. Right. God has a way of showing you.
Yeah.
Of course, he uses leadership. Right. But I thank you for sharing that message because I think we
have fun.
to.
I just think you have to enjoy this journey.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you create a culture that's just like negative and heavy and oppressive. And no, let's make it fun. Let's reward the people that try stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, like even in our staff meetings, we would reward the wins. We would talk about wins, reward the wins.
Yeah.
But let's stop that. Let's reward the youth guy who tried something and it didn't work, but he tried something.
He tried,
Let's have fun with this.
I like that. That we're working on like our value. We're working at a deeper level on like our staff values. And so they were just asking me that. And I was like, can I just be like kind of base level honest here? For me, I kind of look a lot of times at the team and go, having fun? Are we having fun yet? Now, I know yesterday was tough and, we got a karate kick to the, we got to deviate it. But hey, are we having fun?
No.
Because if you're not having fun with me, that's going to be a problem.
Yes.
Because we can overcome a lot if we're just like, man, hey,
enjoy the journey.
We're enjoying it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're living it now.
Yes.
And we started out talking about, we're getting old, we're the old people. Because I went to the movies with my daughter and it was a Michael Jackson movie and nobody in the theater
knew who he was. Yeah, we are the old people.
But I think when you get a little bit older, you realize when all of those people used to tell me it goes by fast, it really does, doesn't it?
Yeah, like the days are long, the years are fast, right?
It's true.
It is true.
So you want to enjoy the journey.
Yeah, enjoy it. That's one thing I say all the time. Enjoy this journey. Enjoy this moment that you have with God to build his kingdom.
Exactly.
How amazing is that?
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
for being
me.
here.
You guys are awesome. I'm honored.
Awesome. I want to say thank you for checking out this episode of the Lead to Win podcast. I want you to know that I love and my team loves getting this kind of content into your life so it can help you lead and win at what matters most. So I'd love for you to do me a favor, like, comment, especially subscribe if you would, so that we can make sure that we're able to get to you some of the things that are going to help you lead to win.